Hello again, I am Blunty, and this is the SFANS adapter for the Nintendo Switch. Now, even before the Nintendo Switch launch, I predicted a device like this would arrive within months of release, an off-the-shelf, truly portable and pocketable travel-friendly dock replacement in the form of a dongle, not some kind of miniaturized dock modification. To be fair, it was an easy prediction to make, really, but nonetheless, here that product is. Or at least here is where it will be soon, because what I have here is an early sample as the product is in fundraising right now over at Indiegogo. And here's the thing, the SFANS adapter actually improves on Nintendo's own dock in a couple of ways. Firstly, of course, way easier to move around and travel with, duh. Secondly though, in addition to the two USB 3 Type A ports, SFANS also has two more USB C Type ports on it, something Nintendo's dock doesn't have, so that's pretty sweet. And that fact is the first evidence here that SFANS are not simply repackaging the electronics in Nintendo's own dock. This is separately designed and sourced hardware. But as you can see from these gameplay comparisons, the HDMI output is in fact indistinguishable from Nintendo's own dock's output. But like the native Nintendo Switch dock, unfortunately the requirement to feed power to it from a mains adapter remains. It won't work with only the HDMI plugged in. If you understand how the Nintendo Switch works, this is of course no real surprise, as the Switch needs the extra power from the mains plug to run in docked mode, where it outputs to 1080p instead of the screen's own 720p, and it also has hungrier power requirements as the CPU is clocked back up again from the slight underclock it uses while in handheld mode, which helps with battery life. And I did try to run the dongle from a battery pack that I knew to be able to charge the Switch in handheld mode well. It'll even top up the battery while I'm playing, as a matter of fact. But I still got no HDMI output from the dongle, so it seems the Switch really does want that full 15 volts 2.1 amps from the mains supply. However, the dock dongle does work without external power if what you want to do is use USB peripherals. I have no wired controllers to test yet, but I did try my keyboards, which I very often use in Minecraft especially, as it makes typing for signs so much faster and easier. And guess what? It worked perfectly with both a standard wired keyboard and also the USB dongle-based wireless keyboard that I usually use with my Switch. I mean, yes, in handheld mode you do get the on-screen touch-based keyboard, but it is proof of concept that the USB ports work without the external power. That's all I'm saying here. There are 3 separate packages on Indiegogo to back. I strongly suggest you get the one with the stand if you do not already have a stand, because laying the Switch flat on its back while connected to the TV is a very bad idea. The Switch has cooling vent intakes on the back, and if you block these by laying it flat on its back, especially while it is in its higher power docked mode, you can very easily cause overheating issues that may, in the worst case scenarios, even permanently damage your Switch. And the fold-away stand that SFANS include in their package, it's fairly basic and fairly plasticky, but it does have nice rubber feet to stop it slipping about, and it has multiple angles and all that sort of stuff, and a nice little tray that sort of locks the Switch in place, and is basically just sort of an okay little stand thing. I think it would have been nice if they went with some sort of bespoke stand thing with a built-in compartment for the actual dongle itself, but obviously they've just sourced some dock from somewhere to include in their package. But yeah, that cooling issue really is the only issue with dongles like this, and the responsibility must fall to SFANS to educate its users on the issue. There was no documentation that came with my test sample, of course, but they could be in for a world of trouble if they don't add a slip of paper right on top of the unit in the box that states in some unmistakable, unequivocal, and unmissable way that you really do need to make sure those vents are free and clear while you use the Nintendo Switch in docked mode, outputting to a TV. Something I worry about that they're not fully aware of, because at least in one of their pictures on the Indiegogo site, they show the Switch lying flat on its back while connected to a TV. Bad idea. Don't encourage that behavior, SFANS. Naughty, naughty, no. Gotta make it clear that those are cooling vents and you must keep them clear. I know for a fact that from my other videos on the Switch and various accessories that more than a few folk very mistakenly and very dangerously think these vents are speakers or something and don't think twice about blocking them up. That issue aside, the product itself feels real nice. I'm not going to judge the build quality, as I suspect these early samples aren't necessarily representative of the final manufactured product, but the design and stylings are quite nice, I like them. And the only thing I don't like about the design is the fact the main USB-C connection, the one that goes into the Switch itself, is integrated. It's built in, non-removable. That's a bad idea for 2 reasons. 1, obviously, if it's ever damaged, that means the whole unit is now useless. 2, For a device designed for travel, I strongly believe all cables should be detachable. Because a trailing, sticky out cable like this that can't wrap away tidily or otherwise be easily protected is very vulnerable while being thrown in a bag with other crap. It does seem fairly robust, to be fair. A nice flat cable, fairly stiff rubbery plastic coating and metallic connector, but still, it would have been far smarter to have this as a detachable cable. I can't yet speak to the robustness or longevity of this product, as I'll have to travel with it at least a few times before I can comment fairly on that, but with some care, I can't see any reason why this thing won't last quite some time. Final verdict? Worth investing in, I think. It's a super convenient solution to traveling with the Nintendo Switch without giving up on big screen play at the other end of your travel. It's also a super easy way to take your Switch over to a friend's place for some big screen multiplayer. Also, a really nice way for those of us who capture and live stream Nintendo Switch gameplay, who'd like to keep the main Nintendo dock by the living room TV, for example, but also have a quick and easy hookup to the capture card at the computer as well. But, as with all things crowdfunded, if you do decide to back this thing, do so with the knowledge that crap can sometimes go tits up. But as I said in the opening, the fact that these guys already have a nicely put together working sample, one that they're willing to send out to people like me to look at, I think that's evidence enough that this is a pretty low risk Indiegogo project to back. Thanks for watching, I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.